What's going on YouTube? Is Donnie B all day. Doing something a little different today. I have a bunch of knives I still have to get through to do reviews on, but rather than do a knife review, what I want to do is a knife battle today. These are my two favorite drop point skinners. We have the Benchmade saddle mountain skinner, and we have the Rooster HR001. So let's start by going over, we're going to go through everything. Well, let's start with the sheaths, because I know that's really important to some people and it's only semi-important to me. The sheaths, both of these are leather. Both of this one's obviously brown, and it's got a nice little the Benchmade butterfly on there, which stamped in really nice. It looks great. This one's a black leather with a guard. So here's the thing, this is snap containment, right? This holds it in by a snap so it doesn't go anywhere. This one is friction, which means when you slide it in, it's a nice tight squeeze, boop, so it can't fall out. Nothing else holds it on. They are both constructed very well. They're both really thick. They both smell like leather. This thing smells amazing. But they're great looking sheaths. This one a little more plain to look at than this one. However, I prefer this one. Not because of the little handle protector. I could, do away with that. It really wouldn't bother me. And not because of the snap to hold it in, because I like the friction. I like to be able to just yank it in and out. It's because of this. The belt loop is awesome. It's right here, it's secure, it doesn't wobble anywhere. This belt loop, once this belt loop gets a little worn, and I like to use my knives, this thing is a little floppy, so when you're moving around, it goes this way, it goes this way, you know what I mean? So the thing is it's almost like having a dangler on you, and that's the only thing I don't like. If this belt loop was as good as this belt loop, I would say this is the better sheath, but because this one stays more secure in one solid place, it doesn't shift anywhere, I got to give it to the Rooster. So that's that. Now we're going to talk about handles. Everybody thinks the most important part of the knife is the blade, but really, if you don't have something good to hold on to, then what good is your blade? Let's talk about the Benchmade first. The Benchmade, let's see if we can get some good light in there. The Benchmade is diamond wood. You'll know that from like the Buck Model 110 uses a diamond wood. It's a nice sturdy wood, and it's got great grain in it. I mean, you can really see the grain. It looks beautiful. This one, the Rooster, has G10. And G10, it has like a nice grain to it, and it's textured, which is really good, because this is smooth, this is textured. This almost has like a carbon fiber feel to it almost when you look at it up close. But it's not the material for me that separates it. Is this one going to give you a little bit more grip because it's textured? Yeah, but only a little. It's not a crazy amount of texturing that it's going to make a complete difference. What it comes down to is shape and size. Look at, let's turn it this way for you. I'll turn it this way for you. Look at the difference in thickness. The Rooster is almost freaking a quarter thicker than the Benchmade. Let me see if I can get it there. It gives you more of a knife in your hand, you know what I mean? More something to grab onto. Where this, especially for a large hand guy, this thing, when it sits in my hand, I mean, I'm all the way around it. Where this thing sits in my hand, you can see that there's girth. I can get my fingers around that grip, and that's awesome. They are both full tank construction. Lanyard hole, no lanyard hole. So having a lanyard hole, for those who use lanyards, is actually much better, but there's other reasons for a lanyard hole which I would use it for, and that's if I need to throw a line over a limb or something. I can tie that around and use this as as an anchor, but I can also tie a string around a rock or something, or just around any part of this. So that doesn't really matter to me. I don't use lanyards because if it slips out of my hand, I chase it. Let's see, the pins they're both little star bits right here. This one it locks on this side and you only have to do this side. This one, it's, you know, they're on both sides. Who cares? Doesn't do anything. They both have thumb grooves on both sides, so they're ambidextrous handles, which I love being a lefty. I think that's important. But when it comes down to let's see, handle fit, even though this one's longer and you see where my pinky sits in there, and I love that. I wish this was a little bit longer. My pinky still fits on it, and it's got this nice upsweep right here, right past the palm swell. You got this great upsweep, and it actually holds my hands, my big hands, in there really good. But the thickness is what really gets it. This one has a nice, you know, boxed out spine, which is really comfortable and really, really nice to look at. You know, when you're looking at spine to spine, that's an attractive spine. I'll give it that. But handle for handle, the Hen and Rooster definitely wins. So now let's talk blade shape. Both are drop points, so there's not much we can talk about blade shape. However, this one is a recurve, and that recurve is beautiful. So I have to say, this drop point right here, I mean, just look at how gorgeous that shape is. But that recurve, I don't know. I might have to give the shape to the Benchmade, because that's sweet. Now the grind, we're going to talk about the grind. The flat grind on this is perfection. This one is a saber grind, right? So they're both drop points. They're both about the same size. They're both almost the same thing, but the grind is different, right? You have more steel throughout the blade here than you do here, giving this one more weight when you're coming down than this one, obviously. I love that. Neither have a choil, so you're not choking up this way on either of these, because you're putting your fingers right on the edge. And I mean, you could if you want. I mean, I do all the time because I'm not that smart, but a choil would definitely help. Jimping, this one has 2 points of jimping. Now, I first reviewed this knife. I'm gonna put that one down for a second. I first reviewed this knife and I talked about how confusing it was to have jimping way up here. And I think people thought I meant, why would you put jimping in the front of a skinning knife? Well, it's because you want to use your forefinger, obviously, and you're skinning, you're doing this. That wasn't my problem, and I rewatched that video and I said, wow, it really made it sound like I didn't even know why there was any in the first place. And I'm thinking, here is the only way I'd be able to use that. And if you don't have gigantic hands, because for some reason, look at how straight, like if my hand was on this grip, here's your finger swell right here, right? That would put my middle finger right there. That would put my index finger way up there. Look at how straight that is. When you're skinning and do that, you want to have a nice bend, because you want to use this. This is what you're doing. You're pushing down. It's like using chopsticks. You're pushing and pulling at the same time. So you want a little bit of bend in your finger. Either this handle needs to be a little farther up, there needs to be a choil, or this jimping has to be a little farther back. Unless you have gigantic hands, like I'm lucky, I have, you know, over 10-inch hands, I can get that good stroke. But for me, the most comfortable way to use it was to use it with a thumb, and it was really confusing to me why this jimping. And I have to say that if you do any kind of skinning at all, any kind of meat cuts and things like that, you know that the front jimping collects a lot of shit, and it just makes it more difficult to clean. So does it need it? No. Is it good to have it sometimes? Yeah, it does create grip, but it comes down to shape and placement too. Depending on how your handle fits, you know, it's not gonna be all that great. However, this jimping right here, I have no complaints about. That is super comfortable. And if I need to, like if I'm shaving, right, and both of these I showed you before are absolutely shave sharp, this jimping is really comfortable. So when it comes to jimping, this one has none. So this one, I would give the jimping right here, you know, more comfortable there. Now, you can see there's no front jimping, and if it was the same thing on here, I'd have to have my hand way up here. But you can see that I don't really need it because my finger's resting on the spine and it's fine. Speaking of the spine, they're both at 90. This one's a little sharper, so if you have to strike a ferro rod, you're going to get more luck with this one. As far as shape, though, that's what we were talking about. I'm giving the shape to the Benchmade. The spine with the jimping, I'm going to give to this, even though I really don't care for the front jimping. I just find it useless. Now we're talking edge. Edge for edge. I mean, I just showed you. They are both just absolutely, I mean, absolutely shave sharp. These edges are beautiful. When it comes down to edge profile, man, it's really tough because I've never seen two knives, and I can't even show you how great they are, but I've never seen two knives with as equaled edge profiles. They're beautiful. One thing I can give the Hen and Rooster is, because it's not a recurve, the edge, the grind here stays the same all the way through. In some lights you can even see the heat treat, which is, you can see it right there. The heat treat is just so well done. And here, because it's a recurve, when they're doing the grind, it changes the angle, so you'll have a thicker grind here than you will back here. But when you're talking skinning knives, you're using up here more anyway, and having that nice bubble is really good. So when it comes down to edge, I don't know, I think I have to call that a draw. Now you'll notice one thing too, this blade is bigger this way, right? It's a wider blade. Not by much, but it is, and that's because of the recurve. If this was not recurve, they'd be pretty much equal. Blade length, they're both pretty close. This one I believe is a 1/4 inch longer. I think this is 8 1/4. It's like 8/17, and this one's I mean a 4/17, and this one is so 4 1/4 and 4 1/2. I think they are. And this one obviously is slightly longer by like a 1/2 inch in the grip. So when you're talking overall, they are identical. I mean, identical overall lengths. One has a slightly larger blade. You can see the cutting edge difference. There's more cutting edge on the Hen and Rooster. Overall, I have to say, I like this one better. I like this one a lot better. This is S30V steel, which is more than capable steel. This has got a Rockwell hardening of like 58 to 60. It's hard. I think it's the same thing with this. S30V 1095. This is German stainless steel. German stainless steel 1095, right? Freaking awesome. This one has a picture of a butterfly right here. This one has got a picture of a hen and a rooster. And I don't know if you ever, I mean, if you're gonna put a fight up against a hen and a rooster against a butterfly, my money's on the big birds. Cockfight time. But I mean, when you're talking about which one's better, you're going to get equal use out of each. Literally, I mean, these guys are phenomenal knives. This one, I'm giving the edge to. The edge to, another thing that you have this little swell right here. That's your only finger guard. That's the only thing that keeps your finger from hitting that edge. And being exposed steel, you can see the maybe you can't. But you can, yeah, there you go. You can see how the steel passes the actual scales, right? That means you're getting slick steel right here where your finger's going, and that is what's, you know what I mean? You're gonna have a little bit more of a slide, you know, with your hand on that, where this one has a sweet ass finger guard. So they take away the need to swell out the end of the grip by adding the finger guard, and that's going to hold you a lot better than this one. Now let's talk about actual shape. Do you see that thing? That's almost straight through. There's nice shape this way. You have, you know, the palm swell, then you have the two finger swells, both really nice. This one, you have the palm swell and the heel swell. You don't need this one because obviously you have a finger guard, but the difference is here. Look at, see this? See how it swells out this way? It flares out at the end. That helps keep your grip in the rear. It's just awesome. Overall, this knife is definitely not just the one I would choose, but the one I would also recommend. Now let's talk about price points. This one retails for about $160. This one retails for around $60. This one you can pick up for about $40. This one you can pick up for, you know, $120, somewhere in there. So literally for $100 less, you can get this knife, the Hen & Rooster HR001. You can get this knife for $100 less that is going to feel better in the hand and perform exactly the same. So they're skinning knives. I figured I'd bring my dogs a treat, a couple of hot dogs. Let's do some skinning here. So I mean, it's just the blade goes through, and I know it's just a hot dog, but it's what I had. So look at this. I mean, the blade goes through with such ease. That's the Benchmade, right? Choose a new hot dog. The Hen & Rooster, it's just it goes in before you even touch it. This blade, it just, look at this. It's just so sweet. Well, we'll do a bottle test too. That's what we'll do. We'll cut open some plastic bottles. But just to show you, skinning for skinning, going through skin and cutting through meat and making a nice even cut. I know it's soft meat, but it's meat. And these things both, you're gonna pull through anything with freaking ease. So let's stop this. We'll go cut through some water and then we'll do a couple other things. All right, so I'm gonna try something different today, and I think this is gonna be an absolute fail. What I want to do is hit it going across and see if I can lacerate any part of this bottle. I didn't have the regular water bottle. This is pretty damn thick, so doing it without power, coming from a weird angle and doing two at once, going backwards, is probably not going to work, but let's have some freaking fun, huh? Well, I'll tell you what, it worked. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it. I'm peeing from two different spots here. Both knives hit and both knives lacerated, and that's pretty good. All right, so will they cut through bottles? Yeah, I honestly didn't think that was going to work. I had no power coming this way, and I was still able to get through, and that's a pretty good thick plastic. That's pretty damn good. So I'm gonna call that a pass. Okay, I needed something better than a hot dog, so I got some good cardboard, and what I want to do is just show you that even without using that crazy front jimping, you can just score through. This is some pretty thick, heavy cardboard, but it is literally no match to either of these edges. I mean, they are just cruising straight through. Sharpness, yeah, I'd say that they're pretty damn sharp. It's just awesome. Thick cardboard, no problem. They're cutters, you know what I mean? These guys right here are cutters. I mean, are they the Case XX buoy? Maybe not, but these guys right here are freaking cutters. All right, let's go cut some more. All right, welcome to the stump. Let's do some drops. Now, I would assume that the Benchmade would fall straighter just because it's lighter in the rear, where the Hen & Rooster has a heavy rear. That was the Hen & Rooster. But I would assume that this is going to have more bite, which it does. It really does, because this is lighter, right? So we're only going to do that once because that's be mundane to keep doing it. Let's see. Oh, the bite in these things is just fantastic. Let's see this. Let's see this. I mean, these are little skinners, guys. They're little skinners. That's what they're for, right? Skinning. Not lifting freaking 45-pound stumps, you know what I mean? They're just awesome little blades. Holy crap, actually taking pretty good chunks out of that. I hit it sideways, but they're just really good. I mean, they're not choppers, obviously you can see that, but man, they are good. Little prying. The tips are great. Now remember, I do use these quite often. This is actually the Hen and Rooster, something I actually carry a lot because I don't do a whole lot of skinning. But if you're a man and you got some issues, I'll skin you. So here we have it. The edges are great. Let's go do some more cuts and then we're gonna throw them. All right, so here we go. Let's put that Hen and Rooster down. We'll take a Benchmade and we will begin shaving. And it's just too easy. I mean, you can hear the wood just flaking. It's just crazy. Got to make a pit, got to put some spikes in there. There you go. Bueno Vito. So let's take some of this down right here. We'll spin this bad boy around. I'm probably going to stab myself now that I made myself a nice point. Let's get rid of that point. Nice and easy. All right, so there we go. There we go. Real quick, it does it all. So, I mean, the knife is a carver. Is it a notcher? With ease. That one good thing about that recurve is it notches like a banshee. All right, I don't know how a banshee notches really. I've actually never met one. Oh my god, this thing goes through. I mean, I'm literally, look at that, guys. I'm like not even holding it. Literally, this Hen and Rooster knife is one of the best I've ever held. So before we hit the end, let's do this so I don't have to cut off the spike. So, man, it is so easy to use this knife. So obviously you have that. That's pretty simple, you can tell. And just like the other one, it's just gonna cruise right through the wood. You're gonna make your spikes. You're gonna, you know, do whatever you want to do with it. The thing is just awesome. Let's see, notching. Ooh, you don't need a recurve if you got a good edge, because that edge is phenomenal. Notching. Okay, so what have we learned? They're awesome. These are just two of the best drop point skinners on the planet. I love them. You'll love them. They can do competitive dance. They're just great. Let's go throw them. Hody do, it's time to trody tro. All right, so let's put these through the air here. There's no special editing, people. Oh my gosh, I could barely get that out. All right, so here we have two completely different weighted knives where the balance point, let's do it the right way. The balance point is on the Hen and Rooster. I believe it's around that first lug, and it seems to be literally right at that first pin. That's where the balance point on that one is. This balance point, I think, is just behind it. And it is, it's just behind it. So this one's heavier in the rear than this one. So to get two equal throws on two different knives, one after another on the first try, that's just awesome. All right, let's go talk about them. All right, guys, so here we have it, my two favorite drop point skinners. The Benchmade Saddle Mountain Skinner and the Hen and Rooster HR001. So basically this is a battle, so it comes down to which one is better, and I'm going to say neither knife is better than the other. the one I prefer is the Hen and Rooster. That's the one I would carry with me. That's the one I do carry with me. That's the one I would use more. That's the one I do use more. For me, that is a better knife. Is it going to do anything that the other one can't do? No. Can the other one not perform as well as that one? No. Just for me, that's a better knife. It feels better. The weight distribution for me is better. The sheath is a little better. The steel, I just prefer the German stainless 1095 over the S30V, which is amazing steel, by the way. So what it comes down to is personal preference, and I prefer the Hen and Rooster. And here's the thing. It basically comes down to, can you get a knife $100 less than another one that equally performs? And obviously, yes. And not only does it equally perform, but for me, it's more comfortable. $100 less, and it's better in the hand. It's better with the weight. It's better in the sheath. Is it any more or less attractive? No, I give them, you know, equal attractiveness. I mean, they're both really good looking knives. The edges, I would say, are definitely equal. The edge profiles are both great. If you prefer saber grind, then spend the extra $100. If you prefer a flat grind, spend $100 less. You know, but there isn't a thing about either of these knives that would have you purchase one and think, oh man, I shouldn't have got this knife. There is nothing I can say to you that was disheartening or that wasn't right about these two blades. They are freaking awesome. Again, it came down to Saddle Mountain Skinner versus the Hen and Rooster, and I choose the Hen and Rooster. So let's chalk that one up as a win. Ding, 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 for the HR001. I am Donnie B all day, and until next night.